Hello and welcome to Gierok Farms. So we're back at this trailer project here, and my daddy filmed some stuff yesterday. So anyways, I'll cut to that footage, and then we'll jump at finishing the rest of the project here today. So hope you guys enjoy.
Just a short update on our trailer project here. I've been working on it yesterday for a while and fixed up a gate on there. Can be slipped out very easily depending on what we might be using it for. Yeah, so then in here I put these angle irons in here on both sides, some scrap steel, and shaped it and kind of scribed everything to the shape of the machine. Got one hole right there, and one hole on the other side over there too, you can see. You gotta put a small patch on in case I ever want to put shell corners, something like that in here, just so that it isn't running out the holes. Easy stuff to fix. Got to work on that PTO drive line a little bit, our button deal. We did put a bunch of penetrating oil on. I think it's just from years and years of not getting used, but gotta do some more working on that. And then this here is what I was really going to show you guys. This is I think they'd call this a split rim. This here, see, that's like a ring inside there that holds this ring on. Now, I don't know, getting this apart, I just started this. I just realized this is what this is. But this tire is completely rotten. The other one holds there. The other one's good. It's a little nicer shape for some reason, but I got some more good used tires around here that I gotta take off a different rim because this is like a 10-hole rim, which there's 5 lugs over there. So anyway, gonna pull this apart, give you an update when we get that done. Okay, got her apart. Just took me a few minutes to get that ring off. And then this ring comes off. Or part of the rim. So we're probably just gonna clean it up a little bit. It really looks like it's built really good, but these aren't the safest things to work with from what I understand. So we're gonna have to be a little careful when we air up the whatever I put on. That tube still holds air, amazingly enough, as ugly as it looks, but it's looking pretty rotted already. So I'm gonna guess if I put some pressure on it, start working with it, or yank it out of there, try to put it back in there, it'll probably have a leak. Well, there we are. I did find some tires. They were on different rims. I had to take them off those rims. And I found them on rims that were 10-hole, but the hole in the middle is bigger. It's all different. Anyway, it's a little bit narrower, so it won't rub here. It's going to be a little bit lower, which is kind of okay for loading stuff in there. So the plan is to switch this side out too. It isn't the healthiest tire. It'd probably hold up, but since I got a set. And there's the rim from that tire. And when I found these by a tire dealer. Actually, the price is right. You know, when you look at them, you'd think, wow, they're going to fit. I'm not going to have to switch nothing but the wheels. And pretty healthy with tires yet. So they're 750s instead of 825s or 900s. So, which would all work. But I'm not really crazy about these type of rims. They're not the safest thing to put together. Gotta really watch what you're doing. But anyway, we're gonna get at that eventually. Another thing I wanted to show you guys, because all the years I've been here, this is kind of a different year. I don't know if you can see up the valley there. There's an awful lot of snow up there yet. There's quite a snowpack. There's probably no way we'd be able to get on the hill yet, but there's drifts in the lower spots up there. But anyway, there's virtually no water running through here. It's 50 degrees out here today, so I would say we got over half our snowpack left yet to melt off. So what's happening, it's all soaking in. That's very rare. There's maybe only 1 year out of 10 that happens where it don't get that big. Kind of like the Mississippi running through the yard here on days like today. So that's great to know. So I think once the snow's gone, spring's gonna come quick. Took the chains off the 75 today, the manure spreader tractor. Another good sign of spring. We did haul several loads of manure this morning it was froze up this morning, but even though there's still some of that snowpack on, so spring is coming.
All right, so we're back at the trailer.
Project keeps getting better and better as we go. I mean, we started out pretty primitive, thinking I will just fix it up, get it working, and just put a floor in, and now we're adding all these extra features. So I did this one yesterday, so we got one more. We're gonna do that since you're here, so maybe you'll learn with me, because I'm still kind of learning how to do them like this, but they're kind of...
Yeah, they'd be called a split rim, so I'm sure any of you older guys probably know about these rims, but they they phase these out because they're dangerous to put together and change a tire.
They can be tricky. And this is actually a 3-piece, and you got 2-piece, and according to the tire dealer, there's different types of those. Again, it's not for everybody to be working on. You gotta be careful with these things a little bit, but we can do it, and we figured it out. So this tire is looking pretty sad too. Not as sad as the one that was on that side. That had the inner tube sticking out. This one don't look too far from that happening, so probably better off just to change it up so we can still salvage the tube, because they don't give those away neither. Well, this PTO, this was just all full of rust. I mean, you know, when you were here the last time too, we were able to actually get it hooked up and run it. Then I bet you I spent 3 hours on this thing, getting this pin out. There's a little spring in there, so this comes back. Well, that was all corroded and broke up. So I just went into our junk spring pail. Seems like we're doing that a lot lately.
Yeah, it comes in handy.
Yep, and I stretched out an actual spring that would fit in there so that we got, you know, it brings it back. But probably went through a whole can of penetrating oil on this thing. Probably worth it to get all this stuff so it actually works the way a shield needs to work. Because the problem comes down to, yeah, it worked, but you have to wrestle with it every time you hook it up. You're just gonna dread trying to use these things. We're gonna need to figure out a place. We should make some kind of holster or something. You know, like a...
Had to keep it out of the way when we're not using it.
So it don't get damaged. Because when you turn with the tractor, because we're not gonna always need to hook up the PTO just because we're gonna move something that we don't need to use the apron for.
I'm willing to bet the majority of the time we won't use the apron, so.
But it should be down in like this area so that it's out of the way.
And mechanically for the PTO and the apron and all the chains and the gearbox, we didn't have to do anything other than lube it up.
Lube it up. We went through a lot of oil. I did add some oil in that gear case back there. And then I think, see right here on the floor, I did sweep the shop up to soak up all the oil because it all leaked right back out the next day.
I think just throw some grease or something in there.
Wow, the little bit this is going to get used, unless we find something that we're doing with it daily, then we're going to want to have, like you said, maybe some heavier oil or something. We're not going to worry about all of that. It's just kind of neat to have one that's working, that we...
Yeah, unload stuff if we need to, so.
We're basically making something out of nothing. This is pretty much almost scrap iron for the junk dealer, and now we got a working unit out of it. We got $50 in the tires. We got the price of those boards to the floor. I think we got more on our floor than we have in anything else, but the air feels warm from sitting out in the sun. Is that something? It's kind of cold outside, but the air in the tire is hot.
So we got the rubber off the rim. That's what the inside of that rim looks like.
A little bit of a fight there, but we got it.
That's pretty stiff. And then something really interesting is the inner tube has like a protective liner that goes with it, which makes things a little more complicated. I don't know what exactly
it's kind of like this boot. Now we're not real familiar with how these all are, but
it must be just to prevent it from adhering to the inside of the rim, or
well, it probably protects the tube from somehow.
Maybe just the friction in there over
Yeah.
time.
So we got that apart, and we're gonna get our other one off, get that one apart. We gotta clean that rim up, and get ready for this tire. Let's do it.
Okay, we got the tire off the rim. Man, was that rim pretty rusty. It was a bit more of a fight than we expected. According to Dad, it went a lot nicer on the other side. But now we're gonna clean up the rim and try to get some of the rust off so everything comes together a bit nicer. A little more of a pain than we expected, but we're getting stuff done yet. Okay, we got it cleaned up and put back together. Now we're gonna put some air in it, and with split rim tires and any type of tire, just be safe when you're airing things up. We're gonna stand over by the valve and kind of keep our distance, especially with split rims.
Exactly.
Yeah, better safer.
I mean, we cleaned it up really good. You know, you just don't know. They claim the 3-piece ain't nearly as bad as the 2-piece.
But even new rims, it's still a good idea not to stand right over the top of it, or
Any rim, really.
have it bolted onto the machine or something when you're gonna air it up. While we wait for that tire to kind of settle in and make sure it doesn't pop apart on us, I wanted to show you guys the progress of spring here and what the snowpack's looking like here. We're filming this the last week of March, and here's our main hillside. Snow's really melted in the past couple days. Thought I'd give you guys a reference of when we're filming this. We're doing some of the smaller weird projects before things really start happening here once spring is in full swing. Hopefully by the time this video comes out, we'll already all be in the fields and full bore adder. So another thing, while I was talking to you guys while we're waiting for this tire to settle in, I wanted to show you some mail that we got at our P.O. box as a drawing. I thought that was pretty impressive. That was a letter from a young gentleman that was talking about how he wants to get into dairy farming, or at least agriculture. He said he was 14 in his letter, and that makes us feel good that we're influencing the younger generation to take part in agriculture and at least show an interest.
What's impressive about it is he actually wrote a letter
Yeah.
and sent it, actually. So, today that's very rare. So my advice to this young fella would be to start working for dairy farmers, if you really, because I mean, that's the only way you're going to get into it. Even if you grew up on a dairy, to get into a dairy, watching YouTube, you'll get a lot of ideas, you get a lot of insight on how things kind of work, but there's so much more. They're always looking for help and somebody that wants to learn.
There's
They'll
plenty
put you on.
of opportunities for anyone that wants a job in
Definitely.
agriculture.
So they'll put you on the simple stuff and you work your way up. And then you'll know if you really like to do this or not. So,
But thank you for sending a letter to us and telling us your story, and thank you to anyone else who's sent us mail and told us about their life experiences or sent us a tool or something like that. We really appreciate it. And if you want to send something to us, we have a P.O. box, and we have that written down in the description. So you too could send us something if you wanted to, and we really appreciate it.
there's detail in this.
Yeah, that's pretty talented. He's got all the components on the side.
This was actually my dad's favorite tractor, the MTA. And the one I got, it was the one that he bought as soon as he started farming. He bought it very good used, which it's very wore out now, but it's kind of neat how he picked this one, to draw. So.
Anyways, thank you to everyone who's ever sent us mail, and I think we can get back to our tire project and bolt that on and finish the trailer. So we got the chain hooked up for the PTO, or at least that's what Dad decided to do instead of like an L bracket or something.
I think it's better.
Yeah, it won't.
It was easier too.
Yeah, yeah, I think this will work really nice.
Because the deal with some kind of saddle is you still have to strap it in there if you want to like go down the road, or that falls out of there, that end up ruining the whole thing.
Yeah, so I think the trailer's pretty much finished then, other than some small patching here and there, but otherwise I think the majority of the trailer's done. Do we want to give them an update on the Oliver?
Oh, yeah, the Oliver. Well,
we can go show them.
So, yeah, let's just go look at it.
So if you watch all our videos, you know that the Oliver, we just had some transmission work that we did on it, and now we caught an issue with our oil where it was looking pretty milky.
I'm not going to take that out in the sun, but if I put my finger in here, that's white. We just changed that. Well, I probably don't even have an hour on this thing yet.
Yeah, that's not looking very good.
No, I didn't look at the level. Let's check that. And when you filled it, yeah, we're up maybe a 1/4 inch, but like I said, for that little bit, it smells like antifreeze, but I don't know. This creaminess is what? So you guys tell us what you know, but I'm thinking we got antifreeze in here. I guess the first place to start is what? You know, they talk about pressurizing this and everything. I don't have any of that. I probably got somebody that maybe could help me with that.
Yeah, that would it more likely be the head gasket, or would there be something?
Because we could do that. So we put a valve cover gasket, head gasket, and then, or would be, because it has its power. It doesn't seem like it was lacking any of that. There's not burning oil or any of that. You know, the exhaust always looks clean. The radiator is down just, I mean, I had it way up to the neck, but it could have just pushed some out when it got hot too. You know, it's down a little bit, but that could be just from what? A pint in there could do that, I would think. I don't think that much. But the thing that gets me is this little bit we used it. If it would have been a few months went by or something and we'd have it looking like that. But that's pretty creamy stuff. We're not gonna want to use this thing and ruin the bearings, because I think you guys are right. And then the other thing is who do we go to even get parts for this stuff anymore?
These guys would probably know that. Let us know down below where we would find parts for an old Oliver like this.
You know, like head gaskets and all that type of stuff. You know, and quality stuff, because I know there's all kinds of different companies. But
I've heard like them old tractor puller guys say they use like Mountain Dew cardboard boxes, but that's an engine where they only run it once or twice, and then they're done. Then they tear it all apart and rebuild it again.
So that's just an economical way of getting a motor.
Yeah, temporary deal.
Yeah. Well, that's to get it done. I don't know if this motor's ever been touched before me. So when we bought this, so what was our hours? Our hours are something like 5. You got $5,200.
Yeah, $5,239.
There's 5,200 hours. I want to think it had something like 20-some hundred when I bought it. Even the guy that we took it to an Oliver shop that ain't there anymore, but that guy's like, even looking at the drawbar and some different wear on it, he said that tack has probably been replaced. That's not original.
It's just very possible.
There could be a couple more thousand in that on this thing, maybe double. But I don't know. Could this motor have been redone with 6,000 to 8,000 hours on? I don't know. You know, if they're changing the oil right and everything, because there's no leaks or nothing, and the power's there.
And since you've had it, all the other components have kind of been touched and worked on. You had your hydraulic steering.
We did hydropower. I did twice, but back when we baled hay with it, that put a lot of pressure on that, so that ended up getting done again. And now it's all good. Yep. And then in the cylinders, there was some O-rings or whatever in there, so that's rebuilt. The hydraulic system I did once. That was kind of like the year after I owned it. We ended up putting new tires on it.
Yeah, so it's not like this is near death, so it's worth figuring out what's wrong. You know, it's worth putting effort and money into the engine. It's just figuring out what exactly we need to buy for parts. And
well, where to go first, what to start with. So, I mean, I'm not scared to put some money into this thing. I mean, this tractor's it's too handy not to fix up.
Yep.
You know, like our MT8, everything else on it is so wore out, even though it's all good yet. we'd be a little more leery about putting a fortune into it. We'd still fix it, but I don't know about, you know, like depending on it for everyday use as much as we've been. So
Yeah,
that's the deal here.
So there's your update on the 1650 Oliver. Make sure to leave plenty of comments down below about what to do and where to get parts. We'd greatly appreciate it. So we're gonna end off the video here. Thank you all for sticking to the end. Make sure to leave plenty of comments about that Oliver and what you think of this trailer. Also, like we were talking, thank you for all the mail any of you have ever sent us. And we have a P.O. box in the description if you want to send us any mail yourself. But anyways, as we were talking about the trailer here, we need a name for it. So also leave some comments about that. What do you think we should name the trailer?
Yeah, we were thinking YouTube trailer since we've been. This was
one of the projects.
I think we can come up with something a little more catchy than that.
Yeah. So leave comments about that. Anyways, we'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.